Alright, I'm back. It is September 12th, so it has been 15 days since I put in the rocks last time. As I said, life is catching up with me. School started. I'm a teacher. I should consider myself very lucky that we were in school pretty much almost all last year, and so far so good this year. But between teaching and coaching, I've been a little bit swamped, and so what ended up happening is that my step 1 has been over 2 weeks, 2 weeks and 1 day to be exact, and my vibratory spent a week in polish. So we shall see if doing 7 days instead of my normal 3 is beneficial or not. Now, the 3 rocks that we've been weighing, one of which is now in 2 pieces. On August 16th, this piece, the big piece of quartz, okay, it was 8.6 ounces. On August 28th, it was 8.2 ounces. And we are zeroing out. And now on September 12th, it is 7.8 ounces. We've taken another 0.4 ounces off of it. I walked away a second to get a pencil, so we're going to write down 9, 12. We are at 7.8 ounces. Okay. The 2 pieces of flint, they don't even fit together right anymore. You can see the effect that the tumbling has had. They don't even fit together. It'd be hard to tell that these both came from the same rock at this point. They started out at 4.6 ounces. They lost 0.4 ounces and went down to 4.2 on the 28th, but it had broken into 2 pieces by that point, and we did lose a chunk of it, so that's not exactly accurate. We are now down to 3.9 ounces, so we've lost another 0.3 ounces. Alright, and our agate, I'm thinking is going to go into the vibratory this time. Here's what it looks like now. I think it's ready to move on, so no point in continuing to grind it in step 1. It is now down to 0.9 ounces, so it's lost enough now after, well, almost a month that it actually shows up on my scale as having lost 1/10 of an ounce. That shows you how hard some of these agates are, that they haven't been removing that much material from it. Okay, now here's the thing. I'm going to move the camera real quick. I think I'm just going to pick it up and move it, so I apologize if I make anybody seasick. I can get this where I want it. And of course the feet on my tripod are not cooperating. Okay, I probably shouldn't do that way, but here we go. Is what it is, I guess. Okay, this is what's left from the last batch in the rotary, and here's the thing: it's gotten to be kind of a potluck. I've got a lot of different kinds of rocks in there. I spent most of last summer doing just tiger eye, and it's made me a believer in terms of trying to do species tumbles, because then the hardness is all the same. And I can't swear that this is what's causing the problem, but I'm starting to notice something. Okay, I pulled this piece out in particular. This is a real nice piece of quartz, but it's got like a piece knocked off of it right here. I'm sure the camera can't see it because I can barely see it with my eyes, but it's got a piece knocked off of it. And you know, I didn't see a whole lot of that last summer when I had everything the same hardness. I'm starting to think that I'm beating up some of the softer rocks with some of the harder rocks, and I may need to do something about that. I also picked up something else. I got a beautiful piece of tiger eye I was hoping to finish up. I mean, hopefully this shows okay, but here's the problem. It's got a big crack in it right there, and I really don't see me being able to tumble that out, and it's a shame because this piece just has beautiful lines in it, The chatoyance shows up very well. There's also a little piece right there that doesn't look good. So I'm going to do something with it. I'm going to take a chisel and I'm going to break it in half. And maybe I can get two smaller, really nice looking pieces rather than one that's just got this big gash in the middle of it. Now, I don't think I'm going to film that just because finding a place to do it's a pain in the butt. But basically, I'm going to take a chisel, I'm going to break it, and we'll see how it goes. The last time I tried this, it didn't work very well. It didn't break on the crack, which really surprised me. I also have another piece. This is a piece of river quartz. I've been called river gravel. I got it from the Ohio River. But it's the same deal. It's got these big cracks in it, but I really like the coloring of it, and I want to try to save it. So I think I'm going to give it a whack too. This is another piece, a really nice piece of tiger eye that I was hoping to finish out, and it's got a little chip on the bottom there too, and I may take my grinder and try to knock that off and see what I can do with that. Last one I wanted to show, I'm not sure this will show up on camera, but this piece of rock, I'm not even sure what it is, but I really like it. It's got it looks like almost reflectivity to it. I think even though it's got a little bit of a crack here, I'm going to go ahead and throw it in the vibratory and see what becomes of it. So it's going to go in with the rocks I have over there. They're going to move on with the vibratory. And I have one piece here that I already took the grinder. I don't know if you can see that. And I ground the end of it. Now I absolutely do not suggest taking a grinder to rocks. I don't think it's safe in any way. I typically, when I do this, I'll take my leaf blower outside, I wet the rock, I do it in front of the leaf blower blowing it away from me, and I wear a respirator while I'm doing it. My neighbors probably think I'm completely insane, but if you get nothing else but two things. Number one, don't ever breathe rock dust. None of it's good for you. And don't let the grit, or don't let the slurry go down your drain. That's not good for your drains. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bash on a couple of rocks. I'll come back and I'll show you the results. Okay, I'm back. I was unsuccessful. The big one, the big piece of tiger eye, I couldn't break it. Also, I didn't mention before, when I was pounding on this, I did put on eye protection. I have no urge to take a piece of rock into one of my eyes. I tried with the chisel, I tried with a screwdriver, and I couldn't get this rock to break. This is pretty hard stuff, so it's going to go back in, and I'll look at it again next week and think about that. I ground off that corner of this piece of tiger eye, but basically I knew I could do it with just minimal grinding. That other piece I would have to, this piece I literally ground for probably 5 seconds. The other one I don't know how long I would have to do it, and I'm not going to go with that. The little piece of orangish rock that I had that had cracks going this way broke that way. So it is what it is. I'm going to throw it back in and see what happens with that. And then I have the piece that I ground the corner earlier, and that's going to go back in, and we'll see what that's going to do in the next few weeks. I have a few rocks in here that I'm going to move on to the vibratory. Once again, I've got kind of a mix of things. I've got this piece that I'm not sure what it is. I think I got it at Lake Superior, but it's got some neat colors in it, so I'm going to give it a shot. I've got some black jasper in there. I've got some carnelian in there. I've got a couple of pieces of tiger eye as usual. I've got the I've got the agate that we had been weighing, and then I've got a couple of pieces of river gravel in there. I'm probably going to have to dig up some other stuff to throw in with it to fill up the vibratory, but we'll see there. I had another idea, and I'm not sure this is going to work out, and I don't know that I'm going to film it or not. But what I'm going to do is, rather than weigh an individual rock, I'm going to use my colanders to try to get all the water out of the 12-pound barrel, and I'm going to weigh the entire thing. So I'll know the weight of now this will include the weight of the barrel, but I should have the weight of the entire thing. Now my fear is I'm not sure how high my scale will weigh. Okay, but get the weight of the entire thing, and then at this point next time, when I've cleaned off all the rocks, before I add any, I'm gonna have to add as much as I need to add to get it going again. I'll weigh it when I've got all the rocks I'm going to tumble in it. Then next week, after I've tumbled them off, after I've cleaned them off, before I add any more, I'll weigh it again, and we'll see how much we took off all the rocks in the barrel. All right, so I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to get the vibratory, and I'm going to clean off the rocks that are in it. We'll take a look at those, and maybe I'll go ahead and weigh that, and I'll give you the weight now, and then we can see what it is next week. I'll be back in just a second. Welcome back to the top of my washer, and here are the results from the lotto from the last couple of weeks. These did an entire week in polish. They did 3 days in pre-polish, 3 or 4. I think I actually got behind a day there, and then they did 3 days in 120/220. And here's the results. Now, most of this, all this quartz, all of this, it's stuff that I've tumbled before. And now the question is, does it look better now? I did it in the rotary before than before. Now, I think so, because I remember when I was putting it in there, I didn't see anything that I thought looked really spectacular. I'm going to dry this one off. Most of this is probably dry, but I'm going to go ahead and make sure this one's dry. This one came out really nicely. If you look, that looks almost like glass. Hopefully we can get that to focus. That one came out really nicely. And there's a couple other pieces I think are pretty nice. That one, this one too. I do think they're better. One of these days I'll get smart and actually take pictures of stuff before I throw it in a lotto, and then I'll know if it came out better. But you know, hey, there you go. A lot of this, and I can't remember where I bought them, but I bought quartz points. Okay, so when I got these, they were long, narrow pieces like this, but they had angles on them and flat spots, but they weren't real shiny. And I was just kind of curious what would happen if I threw them in and tumbled them. So you see, you end up with long cylindrical pieces of quartz, and a lot of them have some really nice spots on, like this one. The top part of it is almost completely clear, which is, I think, pretty nice. In addition, I got a couple of pieces of tiger eye in here. I love tiger eye, that's my favorite. A couple of pieces of black jasper. I have no idea what this is. I'm going to dry it off so nobody accuses me. You held it up wet and that's why it was shiny. So I'm drying it off. And it's not as shiny as some things I've tumbled, but it is definitely shiny. No idea what this is. I think I may have gotten it from Lake Superior. That's the bad part of taking a trip where you cover the entire country in 5 weeks. I have no clue where I got what, and I didn't have room to separate things as I picked them up. Got a little piece of carnelian here. This came out nicely. This is a piece of river gravel from the Ohio River. I live very near the Ohio River. Here's a bigger piece of carnelian. My wife would like that. She likes orange. All right, the experiment with the 12-pound barrel, the total ended up being 15 pounds, 15.9 ounces. So it had almost, well, the grand total was almost 16 pounds. I don't know how much the barrel itself weighs, but there you go. And that brings up another point that I've mentioned before. Okay, that setup is sold as a 12-pound rotary tumbler from Lortone. I also have a Lortone dual 3-pound rotary tumbler, but I'm not sure why they call it pounds, because that really doesn't have much to do with how much you put in it. What's important is the volume, how much you fill of it. Okay. You have to get it up to about 3/4 of the way full, which with well, my light is telling me the battery is going dead, but what you have to do is get it about 3/4 of the way full, okay, and the weight itself would depend on the individual weights of the rocks inside. I have never weighed before like that. I'm kind of curious if any of you have. Let me know what you get. I haven't used the 3-pound barrels in quite a while, so I'm not sure how much it would typically take to fill those, okay, but essentially I had almost just under 16 pounds in there, and that's with no water. After I added the grit and after I added the water and I put the lid back on, I had everything set up ready to go. I tried to weigh it again. Well, my scale evidently 15 was pretty close to the limit because I couldn't get a weight once I had it all put together. But next week or whenever I get back to the barrels, I will open it up, clean off all the rocks, put them all back in the barrel with no water, and weigh it again, and we'll see how much weight we lost on all the rocks after doing however much time I do in straight 60 grit. Alright, well, you have a good week or good however long till the next one. Happy tumbling, and I hope you get some shiny out there.